When was the last time somebody at an airline offered you something for free before you asked for it? Probably never. And it isn't because there's nothing to give. 17 things are sitting behind the counter at every airport in America right now. A lot of them aren't hospitality either. They're written into federal rules, which means the airline is legally not allowed to charge you, and a gate agent can go an entire career without one passenger asking. Start with where your walker goes once you're on the plane. Almost every rule here is United States law. It covers American Airlines and flights in and out of the country, and where the rest of the world does something different, I'll say so. Some of these have exact words that work, and you'll get those as we go. Number 1. Your folding wheelchair or your walker can ride in the closet at the front of the cabin. The default at the gate is that somebody tags it and sends it down into the hold with the suitcases. That's where they get bent, and that's where they go missing. But on any aircraft with 100 seats or more, the airline has to hold priority space in the cabin for at least one adult-sized folding manual wheelchair. There has to be a sign on that closet saying assistive devices get stowed there first. The airline isn't allowed to ask you to give the space up so other passengers can use it. And if you're putting a chair in there, they have to let you board early to do it. I've watched exactly one passenger claim that closet without an argument on an Atlanta to Paris run, and the reason it went smoothly is that she named the thing. Ask at the gate desk before boarding starts, rather than once the line has already formed. Say you'd like to stow your folding wheelchair in the cabin closet. Number 2. Who does a gate agent answer to when they tell you no? There's an answer, and hardly anybody uses it. Every United States airline has to have what's called a complaint resolution official, available at every airport it serves for every hour it's operating there, in person or by phone, at no cost to you. That's somebody trained and authorized to settle disability and accessibility disputes on the spot. Wheelchair help you book never turned up. Pre-boarding refused at the gate. A seating accommodation you're entitled to denied at the counter. One sentence covers all 3. I'd like to speak with your complaint resolution official, please. The limits matter though, because I've watched people misfire with this one. That official handles accessibility and disability compliance, and that is the boundary of what they do. It isn't a complaints desk for a rude agent, a bad seat, or a fare dispute, and asking over any of those gets you a blank look. Use it where an assistant's right got denied. Say it calmly, and the phrase does all the work on its own without you ever raising your voice. Number 3. Wheelchairs and walkers aren't covered by the normal baggage payout. When an airline loses a suitcase, it pays out of a capped pot that rarely covers what the bag was worth. For a wheelchair or a walker, the rules are completely different, and the wording is about as clear as federal writing ever gets. Compensation for a lost, damaged, or destroyed wheelchair is calculated on the original purchase price of the device, what you paid for it, rather than a depreciated figure or a per-bag maximum. A rule that took effect in January of 2025 sharpened it further. Mishandling a mobility device is now a violation in itself, and mishandling covers damaging it, losing it, delaying it, or having it stolen. The airline also has to cover transport costs caused by a delayed device and refund the fare difference if your chair couldn't be accommodated on the flight you actually booked. Nobody at the baggage desk is going to open with any of that. Keep the receipt or the invoice for the device somewhere you can lay hands on it, because the original purchase price is the figure your whole claim runs on. Number 4. Your medication is exempt from the liquid rule, and this is the one that goes wrong most often. The 3-ounce limit, the little quart bag, all of that. None of it applies to medically necessary liquids. TSA lets you carry medications, liquid medications and creams in your carry-on well past 3.4 ounces in what they call reasonable quantities for your trip. Insulin, eye drops, liquid pain relief, nutritional drinks, saline. The freezer packs and gel packs to keep them cold come too, and they're allowed frozen, half frozen, or completely melted, which is the part almost nobody knows. There's one condition and it decides everything. You have to declare them. Tell the officer before screening starts that you're carrying medically necessary liquids and put them in a separate bin along with the pumps, the syringes, and the cold packs. Do that and it's routine. Push them through inside your bag and hope, and you get the bag search and the conversation that goes with it. I've stopped putting medication anywhere except the carry-on, on any flight, for any length of trip. A checked bag that goes to the wrong city is an inconvenience, right up until the heart medication is inside it. Bring a few days of doses in your personal item as well, because a carry-on can get gate checked out of your hands on a full flight, and then it's in the hold with everything else. Number 5, there's one word that gets you a meal voucher in a hotel room. The word you're listening for is controllable. When a delay or cancellation is the airline's own fault, meaning crew, maintenance, or scheduling, every major United States carrier has committed in writing to look after you. Those commitments sit on a public dashboard run by the Department of Transportation, published in full, and you can go and read your airlines for yourself. All the majors commit to meal vouchers on a controllable delay of 3 hours or more. Every one of them except Frontier commits to a hotel, plus the transport to and from it, on a controllable overnight. Weather and air traffic control are not controllable, and that's the line an agent reaches for first, sometimes before anyone has established what actually happened. So put the word into the conversation yourself. Ask whether the delay is controllable, then ask for the meal voucher and the hotel the airline has committed to. 2 things people learn the hard way here. Ask what the voucher covers and how long it lasts, because one traveler I heard about was handed a coupon good only that day, by which point every vendor in the terminal had shut, and get moving on it early. The hotel rooms near a big airport during a mass cancellation are gone inside the hour, and the passengers who got them were standing at the desk while everyone else was still refreshing the app. Number 6, how far into the airport can a family member come with you? Further than most people think, and they don't need a ticket to do it. Your son, your daughter, a neighbor, whoever drove you there can come through security with you and sit at the gate until you board. Most major United States airlines will print what they call a gate pass or an escort pass at the staffed check-in counter for someone assisting a passenger who needs help. It goes through the checkpoint the same way a boarding pass does. The same pass works in reverse when you're the one arriving. Southwest publishes this for anyone helping a passenger who needs wheelchair assistance, and United publishes it for passengers needing special assistance. Delta is the one to watch, because it folds the cost into its unaccompanied minor fee, so free isn't universal. Go to the staffed counter rather than the self-service kiosk, since a machine can't issue one of these. Bring their government photo identification, and leave more time than you normally would, since the pass has to be written up before either of you goes anywhere near screening. Number 7, the airline can't charge you for a seat you need for a medical reason. Not knowing that costs older travelers real money every year. Airlines charge for seat selection now on nearly everything, but the United States disability rules say a carrier must not impose charges for facilities, equipment, or services the rule requires it to provide, and the rule requires quite a lot of seating. Someone who can't lower themselves over a fixed armrest gets a row where the aisle armrest lifts out of the way. With a fused or immobilized leg, you're entitled to a bulkhead seat, which is the front row of a section with a wall in front of it instead of another seat, or any other seat with more legroom. And if somebody is traveling as your personal care attendant, your reader, or your interpreter, they have to be seated next to you at no extra charge. None of that is a preferred seat you buy. It's an accommodation, and selling it back to you is what the rule forbids. Getting it is the part people skip, so here's how. The website can't do it, and the gate is too late, because by then the seats are assigned and the agent's screen shows a fee. Call the airline's accessibility desk at least 48 hours out. Describe the need rather than a diagnosis, because a diagnosis invites questions nobody at a call center is qualified to ask. The whole sentence can be, I can't lower myself into a middle or a window seat. That's enough, and it gets written onto the booking where a gate agent can see it. Number 8. Airlines now have to refund you in cash rather than a travel credit. Since a Department of Transportation rule came into force in late 2024, if your flight is canceled or significantly changed and you turn down the rebooking, that refund is automatic and it goes back the way you paid for it. The airline also has to notify you that you're owed it. Significantly changed is defined in the rule, and it's broader than people expect. More than 3 hours on a domestic flight or more than 6 on an international one, a different airport at either end, more connections than the ones you booked, or being downgraded to a lower class of service than you paid for. 7 business days on a card, 20 on a cash purchase. If somebody at the desk offers you a credit, the words cash refund end the conversation. This one is American law as well, though the European Union runs a compensation regime that's more generous in places, so flying there it's worth reading before you accept anything. Number 9. What does an airline charge to check a walker, a cane, or a breathing machine? Nothing, and it doesn't touch your allowance either. Assistive devices don't count toward a limit on carry-on baggage, and mobility aids ride free in the hold on top of whatever bags you already paid for. You can use the device right through the terminal and hand it over at the aircraft door. The money gets lost at the check-in belt, and it happens because nobody says the word. A walker that goes onto the belt looking like ordinary luggage gets treated like ordinary luggage and counted against you. So tell the agent what it is. A rollator, which is a walker with wheels and a seat. A shower chair or a cane. A CPAP machine, which is the breathing device people use for sleep apnea. Once it's logged as an assistive device, it comes off the count. Oxygen is the one to arrange ahead. Airlines don't hand out supplemental oxygen for your personal use on board, and they generally want notice of a portable concentrator, often around 48 hours, along with the battery arithmetic for your flight time. That varies by carrier, so confirm it with yours and get it noted on the booking. Number 10. All it takes to pre-board is one sentence at the gate. Under the United States disability rules, anyone who says they need extra time or assistance to board, to stow equipment, or to get seated, pre-boards. That means ahead of general boarding, ahead of first class, the elite tiers, and the families with strollers. Nobody asks for a doctor's note, and you don't have to justify your needs to anyone standing at the podium. The words are, "I need a little extra time to board. I'd like to pre-board, please." Your traveling companion goes with you. Now the honest verdict, because plenty of people don't want this, and they're right not to. Pre-boarding buys you exactly one thing, which is space in the overhead bin. If you've checked your bag, boarding first only means more minutes sitting in a hot cabin, and I'd skip it. Carry on only. Take it every single time. There's a companion move worth having. Board late onto a full flight when the bins are gone, and the gate agent will tag your carry-on and send it to your final destination for nothing, while everyone else on that aircraft paid the checked bag fee. Volunteer for it before the announcement and you get the same deal without the standing around. One caution comes with that though. Anything you actually need has to come out of that bag first, because you won't see it again until the carousel. Number 11. The special meal is free, and getting it is a two-step job. Yum, 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 yum. Any passenger can request one on a flight with meal service. Low sodium, diabetic, gluten-free, lactose-free, vegetarian, and a long list past that. American Airlines takes them from 30 days out to 24 hours before departure, and most carriers want 24 to 48 hours of notice. If you're managing blood pressure or blood sugar, the low sodium or the diabetic tray is a genuinely better piece of food than the standard one because it's made in smaller batches. The second step is the one nobody mentions. These trays go missing constantly, and the failure is almost always in the booking rather than the galley. One woman ordered a special meal on a 4-sector trip through Asia, and it turned up on exactly one leg, and the crew told her she should have telephoned 2 days before each individual flight. So reconfirm per leg, not per booking. You'll also hear that special meals get served first, so you beat the line for the restroom afterward. Sometimes it works out that way. Often the tray just rides the cart and arrives with your row. So enjoy it when it happens and build nothing around it. Number 12. Wheelchair and cart assistance is free, and the tip is the part nobody explains. It covers you from the curb through security to your seat, and again at every connection, and the airline is required to provide it. The electric cart is part of the same service, and your companion can generally ride along. I sat next to a woman on a leg out of Nairobi who had spent a decade refusing all of it, walked every terminal on her own 2 feet, and had finally given in on the way out through Heathrow. A separate security lane opened up. Knee replacement set the scanner off, and nobody made it a problem. Buggy to the gate with her husband aboard, first onto the aircraft, and somebody waiting with a chair at the other end. She said she'd wasted 10 years being proud about it. 3 complications come with it. Those attendants are almost always third-party contractors working for the airport or under contract to the airline. So when it goes wrong, the airline call center is the wrong number to dial, and the airport is the right one. They work shifts, and a 6 in the morning departure can land before anybody is on duty, which is why a booked chair sometimes simply isn't there. And in the United States, they generally live on tips, so the service is free, but you'll want cash on you. $5 is the figure most travelers land on. At some airports, staff are forbidden from accepting one and can be fired for it, so ask whether they're allowed before you reach for your wallet. Number 13, can you ask for somebody to walk you through security? You can, and the person you're asking for is called a passenger support specialist, a TSA officer with extra training on exactly this. You arrange it through TSA Cares, the agency's helpline for travelers with disabilities, medical conditions, or anything else that makes screening harder. Request it at least 72 hours ahead through the TSA Cares form or by calling 855-787-2227. Forget, and you can still ask an officer or a supervisor on the day. Set your expectations correctly, though. One traveler who arranged it found the specialist assigned to her was handling a large family at the same time, and because her husband wasn't enrolled in PreCheck, the paid program that gets you a faster screening lane, she went through the standard line anyway and got a full pat-down. The specialist helps you through the process, and that help doesn't extend to whoever is flying with you. Still worth the call if you're carrying medication, a medical device, or a joint replacement that's going to set the machine off. Number 14. Travelers over 75 used to get to keep their shoes on at security. That was real, and plenty of people are still counting on it. It stopped being special in July of 2025 when the Department of Homeland Security ended routine shoe removal for everybody at United States checkpoints. So the shoe business is now just an ordinary Tuesday. What survives is better anyway, and it's still on the books for 75 and over. You can ask to be screen seated if standing in the machine is difficult, and a second pass through the imaging equipment can clear an alarm before anybody reaches for a pat-down. If you can't stand for screening at all, they screen you another way. An alarm can still put your shoes on the belt, so this is a smoother path and not an exemption, and it's American law only. Plenty of countries still want the shoes off, so a buckle you have to bend down for is the wrong choice of footwear on an international trip. Number 15. A green lanyard covered in yellow sunflowers, free for the asking. The hidden disability sunflower is a quiet signal to airport staff that the person wearing it may need a little more time, a little more patience, or an instruction repeated. Nobody stops you to ask questions, and nothing gets announced. Staff who are trained on it simply slow down. You don't have to prove a condition to get one, and more than 160 airports around the world now recognize it. That's why it's the rare thing on this list that still works once you leave America. Seattle-Tacoma keeps them at the information desks either side of security. Dallas-Fort Worth will mail one out or hold it for collection, and at San Jose you can pick one up at the airline check-in counters. Heathrow has them at the assistance desks. The whole cost is one request at a desk you walk past anyway, and what it buys is not having to explain yourself in 4 different places. Number 16. Everybody tells you to phone up and ask for the senior fare. The advice is always the same. There's an unpublished rate, the reservations agent can see it, and you'll save a fortune. United does still carry a senior 65 and over passenger type in its booking flow, so the box on the screen is real enough. Frequent flyers who have spent years selecting it report never once finding an itinerary where it produced a lower fare, and travelers who rang United, American, and Delta to ask directly were told there's no senior discount to give, so I'd stop spending an afternoon on hold chasing it. The fares quietly stopped being filed, and the drop-down menu stayed up on the website, which is why people are still being told to ask for something that stopped existing years ago. What's left of it is narrower. Air France sells a senior card to travelers 65 and over, valid on departures from mainland France, and you pay an annual fee for it, so that's a subscription rather than a freebie. Some membership organizations also negotiate their own airline discounts, which is a different thing again from a fare an airline files itself. Number 17, who is actually going to lift your bag into the overhead bin? Not the flight attendant, and this is the single most common piece of bad advice on the subject. The Association of Flight Attendants trains crew not to lift passenger baggage because it's a leading cause of crew injury, and an injured crew member grounds the aircraft until a replacement can be found. Delta says outright that its flight attendants can't proactively help customers put carry-ons into the bins, with limited exceptions, and Southwest treats helping as hospitality rather than a duty. Ask around, and the answer comes back the same way on carrier after carrier, and 2 separate travelers were told by crew that they just had arm surgery that week. So don't ask the crew, ask the passenger in the next seat, and give them the reason in the same breath. A man flying to Tucson a week after open heart surgery, under orders not to lift anything above his head, said exactly that out loud. A young man was on his feet before he'd finished the sentence. Most people want to help, they just need somebody to ask. One more thing about that bin while we're here. They fill from the front, so the last few bags on a full flight end up several rows behind wherever their owner is sitting. Watch where yours actually goes in, because collecting it from back there means working your way upstream against everybody trying to get off the plane. Nothing on that list is generosity. These are rules that got written down after enough travelers were left sitting at the wrong end of a jet bridge, and no airline has a reason to read them out to you. There's no announcement, there's nothing in the seat pocket, and that closet at the front of the cabin stays shut until somebody asks about it. There's one on this list I've asked for more times than I care to admit and never once got, and I genuinely like to know whether anybody out there has. Put it in the comments with the airline that finally said yes,